Welcome, my friends, to another episode of The Woggers Way. I'm Uncle Brian with Woggers General Services, and today I'm going to show you how to prevent one of the most damaging things to your house, a water leak from your washing machine. So I deal with a lot of water damage issues in my business, and I feel very strongly about helping homeowners protect their property from water damage. And today, I'm going to walk you through a little house here that, has some major water damage. Now, when a leak happens, not only does it cause a lot of damage, but it's very time consuming and very expensive to fix. Not only that, but it's very inconvenient, especially when you start getting the homeowner's insurance involved. And today, I'm going to show you how to prevent major water damage from happening when the hose to your washing machine bursts. Not only does a burst hose cause damage in your laundry room, but it also seeps under the walls and gets into other rooms where it affects the floors, carpeting, the walls, nearby cabinets, any personal effects you have in there. It creates mold, mildew, all kinds of other damages. Now here, this is a kitchen, and you can see they had to cut out the drywall almost 2 feet up all the way around. It got under the walls, into the kitchen, under the stairway, past that into the garage. So all the drywall about 2 feet up, all behind you, that wall, this wall, these walls. There's a pony wall over there to the family room. That was all ripped out. The walls in the family room, same way, 2 feet up, all the way around. We'll do a walkthrough here in a little bit. On the other side of that wall, that's the stairway. That had to be ripped out underneath. It went past that into the garage. So it does cause a lot of damage, and not just to the laundry room. And if your laundry room is on the second floor, well, then you got all kinds of other issues to deal with, especially when water starts coming through the ceiling. Now, this leak was not caused from a burst hose in a laundry room. This was actually caused right here in the kitchen. That is the valve, the water line that goes to the refrigerator for your ice maker and indoor water dispenser. That valve went bad and started leaking when the homeowner was out to dinner one night. They were gone for a few hours. It flooded this kitchen. You can see they had to rip all the kitchen cabinets out because all the kitchen cabinets got ruined. The drywall about 2 feet up all the way out. Plus over here, it's all been cut out. Here's been cut out. It seeped under the pony wall here on this side. They had to cut that out. It went into the family room, and you can see all the way around here and over here, all that had to be cut out. The carpet was soaked. The carpet had to be taken out, new padding put in, the carpet cleaned, re-put back in. And like I'm talking about, here's the stairwell. It went under the stairwell. You can see here, here's the hall closet. You can see how it seeped through the hall closet. The floor in the closet's been removed. The casing got damaged because it wicked up. So you can see the casing here on the door to the garage has been removed because that was all damaged. More drywall there, drywall here. In the downstairs half bathroom, drywall's all removed. Cabinet got ruined. Everything's taken out. Casing on this door. If you go out into the garage, you can see also in the garage, here's the wall to the house. This is a alcove. This here is the stairway. So you can see here, all the drywall cut out here, all around here, all down here. This is all under the stairway. So this isn't even a burst washing machine hose. This is just a small valve that goes to the ice maker for the refrigerator. That hose is only a 1/4 inch hose compared to a 3/4 inch hose for your washing machine. So you can imagine if a 1/4 inch hose did this much damage in a few hours, just think what a 3/4 inch hose can do in a few hours. And if it was upstairs, the amount of damage, because it's going to seep through downstairs. Now you got to rip out the floors, the ceilings, more walls. Yeah, it causes a lot of damage. And to help combat water damage, today I'm going to show you the Intelliflow washing machine water shutoff system by Watts. Man, that's a mouthful. And not only am I going to show it to you, but I'm going to run it through a couple real life leak scenarios just to demonstrate whether or not this actually works. So today, out my driveway, I got mocked up a laundry room. We got a working valve box, we got a working electrical, we got a washing machine that I think works. And we got the Watts Intelliflow system in here. Now, for full transparency, Watts did provide the Intelliflow system that I'm using in the demonstration today. But they're not paying me. They have no say in what goes into this video or what I say. This is 100% my unbiased opinion. So if this thing doesn't work, well, we're going to find out together, because I have not used one of these yet. I haven't tried this out, so we're going to find out together whether or not this thing actually works. I only found out about this by one of my viewers who brought it to my attention, because I'm really big into preventing water damage. So when they told me about this, I'm thinking, well, that's a great product, as long as it works. So I contacted Watts, and Watts is kind enough to provide the Intelliflow system that I'm going to be using today. They also provided an extra one that I'm going to give away to one of you lucky viewers, if it works. Well, even if it doesn't work, I'm still going to give it away, but if it doesn't work, do you really want one? Just saying. All right, let's find out. Now, you can obtain the Intelliflow system as a complete kit. In other words, you're going to get the wall box, you're going to get the Intelliflow system with the valves, and you're going to get a leak sensor, like I have set up here. Now, you can also buy just the Intelliflow valve and hook it up to your existing valves in your wall as a retrofit. And I'm going to tell you my thoughts on that a little bit later. Little spoiler alert, I don't recommend it. So before I show you how it's working, let me show you how to hook it up. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to install the in-wall valve box with the Intelliflow system on there. Now today, I am not going to show you how to install this in your wall. Today, it's mostly on how this system works and whether or not it does work. I will be making a video on how to install it in the future when I remodel this bathroom. But until then, there are plenty of videos on YouTube showing you how to install an in-wall washing machine valve box in your house. You know, that is until my video's out there. Well, then watch mine. Once the valve box is in, then you're going to take your hoses that connect to your washing machine, and you're going to connect them to the valves on the front of the Intelliflow, just like you would your normal shutoff valves in your wall box. Once you have those hooked up, here's the difference in what makes this system works. Your washing machine is not going to plug into your outlet in the wall. Instead, on the front of the washing machine, there is an outlet. Now, when you get it, there'll be a little sticker over that outlet. Don't lose that sticker. It's got a QR code on there that you need later on. So your washing machine is going to plug into the Intelliflow system. Then your Intelliflow system is going to plug into your wall box. Once you have that all hooked up, then you're ready to go. Now that you know how to connect it, let me show you how it works. All right, now that you know how to connect it, how exactly does this thing work? Well, it's actually pretty simple. So the Intelliflow system acts like a pass-through. In other words, all your water and power from the house connects up to the Intelliflow. And then your washing machine connects up to the Intelliflow. So any water to the washing machine has to go through the Intelliflow first. The same with any power. So the way it works is if you turn on the washing machine, the water's flowing, the Intelliflow system says, oh, wait a minute, we got water flowing here. But then it also recognizes that it's also pulling power. So since it's pulling power, it assumes that the washing machine is turned on. Therefore, water should be flowing. So it just chills out, has a margarita, and it doesn't get involved. Margarita, that sounds good. A little later. Okay, so now the next scenario. What if it's not running? So now you're down at your favorite Mexican restaurant having your chimichanga and those margaritas. You don't have it running, but bam, one of the hoses bursts. So now water's flowing. So now the Intelliflow system says, hey, water's flowing, but then it also recognizes that there's no power being used. So it says, well, there's no power being used, therefore the washing machine is not on, so water should not be flowing. So what it does, it cuts off the water. Therefore, no water damage. All right, now, what about if it's running though? So let's say you're still at your Mexican restaurant enjoying your chimichangas and your margaritas, but you're running the washing machine and washing your little tidy-whities. But while you're gone, boom, a hose bursts again. So now the Intelliflow says, hey, water's running, but it also knows that power's being used because, well, you got the washing machine turned on. So would it just kick back and not do anything while you got water pouring all over the place? Not exactly, but glad you asked the question. That's where this comes into play. This is a leak sensor that sits on the floor. So normally you would sit this on the ground behind your washing machine. So now the hose bursts, the InteliFlow is going, water's running, power's running, therefore the washing machine's running, I'm not going to do anything. But that leak sensor sitting on the floor gets wet, and now all of a sudden it says, hey, we're going to override your thought process. We know there's water on the floor where it shouldn't be, so we're going to shut the system down. There you go. No more leaky, and your tidy whities are safe. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and do a couple leak scenarios. The first one is the washing machine is going to be off. I'm going to remove the floor sensor because I don't want it to override anything. Then I'm going to sever a hose to simulate a burst hose. And we're going to see how long it takes the InteliFlow system to acknowledge that there's water flowing, but there's no power being used. Therefore, the washing machine is not on, and it shuts down the system. And then our second scenario, I'm going to run the washing machine with the floor sensor in place. I'm going to put a little cut in one of the water hoses to simulate a leak, and we're going to see how long it takes for the floor sensor to override the InteliFlow system and shut the system down. So let's have some fun and cut some hoses. Everything's operating the way it should. So now we're going to go ahead and sever one of the hoses. We'll see how much water comes out, how long it takes the InteliFlow to shut it down. Here we go. Hey, no water. You know why? Here's why. When the power is not flowing through the InteliFlow to the washing machine, the InteliFlow says that the washing machine's not running. So it just keeps the valves off at all times when the washing machine's not running. When you turn the washing machine on, then it kicks in. So you never have to worry about it, the InteliFlow kicking on to stop a leak, because the leak can't start to begin with. The InteliFlow keeps the valves permanently off when the washing machine's not running. So we should be able to turn the washing machine on and, there, see? So that shows you that the InteliFlow is actually working. I have a leak in my mock-up here, so I have to dry the ground out before we can do the sensor test. I got two cameras rolling, so I'm going to put one here so you can see the leak sensors down here in the ground, and I'll create a leak. I got another camera showing the washing machine so you can see when it shuts off. So we got these synced up. And we'll place the leak sensor down here. Now I had to plug up the drain from the washing machine because I didn't have a drain hose hooked up to it. So as soon as I turn it on, it just spews water out, which is fine for the leak test, but I want to do just a small leak here. Just cut the hose a little bit and have it spray out and see how long it takes. So let's turn the washing machine on. So you can see the washing machine's going. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a little cut in one of the hoses to create a leak. And now we got just a small, there you go, just a small leak. And we'll see how long it takes the sensor to turn it off. Oh, there it goes. All right, so shut it off pretty quickly. If I had to guess how much water came out, I would say less than a quart. So it wasn't much water that came out before it shut off. So that's pretty good. Now we saw that the InteliFlow system is working as it's intended. And if you want me to continue working as I'm intended, I'd appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up like button and subscribe to my channel if you find the content that I'm putting out there is helpful to you. All right, let's go back inside. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the InteliFlow, the notifications that you can get on your phone, and how you can win one of these InteliFlow systems for free that was supplied by Watts. While these leak scenarios resulted in the InteliFlow to work as intended, there was a little glitch in the beginning. Here was my first attempt at a burst hose. All right, our first scenario here, we got the washing machine turned off. We got everything energized, water's in the lines, power's on. I got the floor sensor removed because we don't want it to override the system. I am now going to sever a line here, and we're going to see how long it takes for the Intelliflow system to understand that water's flowing, but there's no power being used. Therefore, it's going to shut the system down. We're going to see how long it takes. Got my handy dandy pipe cutters here. We're just going to go ahead and sever a line. All right, we got water flowing. Taking a while. When's it going to shut down? Anytime now. All right, let's hold on. Get a bucket here. All right, we got a little issue. There's a lot of water coming out. So far, over a gallon. Two gallons. Still going. I got 3 gallons. Yeah, I don't see any signs of it stopping. Houston, we have a problem. Coming up on 4 gallons now. 5 gallons is a lot of water. If it doesn't shut down shortly, I'm just going to turn the water off manually. Yeah, we're almost at 5 gallons. It's time to shut it down. So what happened here? Why did the water not shut off? Or better yet, why was the water even active if the washing machine was off? Because remember, I said if the washing machine is off, the Intelliflow keeps the valve shut down. So there shouldn't have been any water pressure in there at all. Well, if I read the instructions completely, I would have been aware of a little issue. When you first plug the Intelliflow in, the yellow light on the front will probably be on. That indicates that the valves are open. To reset it, unplug the floor sensor, wait a couple seconds for the red light to come on, and then plug it back in. Now both the red and yellow lights should turn off. Then the system is ready for use. Now I didn't do that and the yellow light was on, I didn't notice it, so the valves were open. Now there are 3 lights on the front of the Intelliflow: blue, yellow, and red. A flashing blue light indicates that the Intelliflow is powered up. The yellow light means the Intelliflow indicates a current draw by the washing machine and opens the water valves. No current draw, no light, and it closes the valves. Now the red light means that the floor sensor isn't connected or connected improperly. And once the washing machine completes its cycle, the yellow light will go out and shut off the valves until the next time you turn the washing machine on. Now I noticed that it took about 15 minutes after the washing machine was off before the yellow light went out. That's most likely due to some machines have a soak cycle. So you don't want the valves to shut off during your tighty-whities or soaking. Now, one thing to be aware of is that some washing machines include circuitry that causes a slight current draw at all times. Now this draw makes the Intelliflow sensor believe that the washing machine is on, which will cause the water lines to be live, even if the washing machine is actually off. You'll see this mostly on the newer machines with electronic controls. So how can you fix this? Well, for one, you really don't need to, because the leak sensor on the floor will detect any water and shut the system off if needed. And if you're the kind that, you like to get notifications if the system shuts down, you can set up to receive email and or text alerts on your cell phone. It gives you instructions on how to set up the notifications, and the nice thing is, it doesn't require an app. Now, I'm sure you probably have more apps on your phone than you care to, and half of them you probably don't even use anymore, or you probably even forgot that you had them. So it's nice not having to download another app. In the notification setup, you'll just enter your phone number and or email address to get sent notifications, which kind of look like this. And it works with both Android and Apple. And since there's no app, there's no monthly fee or any fees at all involved. Now, if you like how this system operates, keep watching because shortly I'm going to tell you how you can win this Intelliflow washing machine smart water shutoff system by Watts. They really need to shorten that down. That's a mouthful. But first, just a couple things for reference. Now you can install the entire unit. That's the wall box, the valves, the IntelliFlow valve body, all in one nice clean component like I had in this video, which will require you to cut open your drywall on your wall and do some basic plumbing to the water lines and the drain pipe. Now, if this is beyond your level of comfort, you can contact a plumber in your area to do it for you, which is what I recommend you do anyway. You can also install the IntelliFlow valve as a retrofit to your existing valves, but I'm not a fan for doing that. For one, your existing valves, well, they're probably in poor shape anyway. Maybe they're leaking, or they're corroded, or stuck so you can't shut them off, and they're just in plain poor condition, so they probably should be replaced anyway. Second, your existing valves need to be on one side of your box. They can't be spread out. And when they're together, they have to be 2 3/8 inches apart on center. Now, there is a retrofit which you can get, which basically it has an extension pipes which come off your existing valves and then they elbow up, where you'll mount the IntelliFlow valve body onto those. So in essence, the IntelliFlow is going to be floating out in front of your existing valves. Now, if your valves are wider apart, now there is a retrofit for those also. It's basically some PVC pipes and some fittings. That way it hard pipes your, with using the CPV over to where you mount the IntelliFlow from your existing valves. To me, that's just more connections for leaks, and leaks at those connections are not recognized by IntelliFlow. So just do yourself a favor, just install the wall box kit. Now, I've seen where some people will just attach the IntelliFlow valve body to their wall, and then they'll connect it to their existing valves with some washing machine hoses. Now, will that work? Well, sure it will. But the downside is, if one of those hoses bursts or develops a leak, the IntelliFlow valve body won't pick it up because it's before the IntelliFlow system. So you're still going to end up with a leak. This system is for a 120 volt system, not 240 volts, such as if you're running a combo stackable washer and dryer that runs on 240 volts. This won't work. But there is an IntelliTimer, which is an optional accessory used in conjunction with this, which allows the IntelliFlow system to be used for appliances where maybe the washing machine uses 240 volts, or maybe you have a combo washer dryer that's 240 volt powered. Then that'll work, so Watts has you covered. Also, when installing the IntelliFlow, take this opportunity to change out your hoses to some high quality hoses, such as the braided stainless type. If you utilize rubber hoses, make sure you change them out every 3, maybe to 5 years. The stainless ones will probably last you maybe around 7 years. And also check your hoses yearly. If you see any issues like cracking, bulging along the hoses, or rust on any of the fittings, then it's definitely time to change them out. Now, if you'd like to get the IntelliFlow system installed in your house, I'll put a link down below where you can purchase it on Amazon, or you can contact a plumber in your area and say you want one installed, and then they can obtain it through their plumbing supplier. And if you want to get this unit that I'm giving away for free, first, let me thank my friends over at Watts for providing this as a giveaway. Now, all you need to do is send me an email to this email address with the subject line, IntelliFlow Rules. Now, I will choose an email at random out of the first 100 emails received and send them this system by Watts. If you didn't catch that email address, just click on More in my bio below to expand the information, which will list the email address to send your request to and the subject line details. Remember, the subject line of the email must read IntelliFlow Rules to be eligible, because that will direct the email to the contest inbox. Now, I don't care what you write in the email, as long as the subject line says IntelliFlow Rules. In your email, you could say, hey, love your channel, or Woggers way is the best, or Uncle Brian is a sexy beast. Just as long as the subject line reads IntelliFlow Rules. And as a bonus, the first 10 emails that also include how many times I said the word IntelliFlow in this video will receive something nice from my merchandise line for free. Now, after you send off that email, don't forget to click on the thumbs up like button and subscribe to my channel. That way you won't miss out on any of my future videos and possibly some future giveaways. Also, drop a comment below if you've had a burst washing machine hose or a leak from your washing machine, and how much damage did it cause, and if you think that this IntelliFlow system, is a worthwhile investment. Once again, this is your Uncle Brian saying thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you in one of my other videos. Like that one. Bye now.